Welcome. Come and sit in your chair, sitting about partway forward in your chair so your feet are able to rest onto the floor. Do a little wiggling around if you need to really settle into your chair, and then lift your chest up, letting your hands rest in your lap. So a little bit longer lift through the spine. This helps to bring a bit more energy through the body and kind of signals an attention, right? We're going to pay attention now to our practice, to our bodies, hearts, and minds as we move and breathe through our yoga practice. Good. Let's now collectively take a deep breath in through the nose and let a big sigh out the mouth. Let's take another deep breath in through the nose. Big sigh out the mouth. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Closing the mouth now and starting to breathe through the nose. Just noticing that breath moving in and out through your nose. Now, if you're feeling breathing through the nose is sort of limiting for you, or you're short of breath or strained to breathe, you are welcome to breathe through your mouth if you need to, but if possible, breathing through the nose when you can. Then take one hand and place it on your lower belly. Take your other hand and place it on the center of your chest. Let your elbows just hang heavy here and start to notice the warmth and weight of the hands here on your body. Noticing the space of the belly and the space of the chest. And starting to notice the space between your hands. So the space that's in between the hands here, kind of in the middle of your torso. And for today's practice, we're going to focus on this space that is actually between the hands, guiding the breath now in more of a side to side feeling. So a sensation of the breath expanding to the sides of your body and then gently contracting back in. So sometimes we focus on the breath going up and down. Sometimes we focus on the breath going forward and back, or out and in from the front and back. And today we're going to focus on the breath going side to side. So really expanding out to the sides and then gently contracting back in. So sometimes it's helpful to keep the hands here, one on the belly, one on the chest. Sometimes if it's available, you could bring your hands to the sides of your rib cage. And really start to guide and focus your breath there into the sides. Now, having the hands on the rib cage is just sometimes not available. So I really suggest then keeping one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Focusing in that widening breath. Softening the throat. Good. With your next inhale, start to lift the chest up, lift the chin up. Keep the chest lifted as you exhale and gently drop the chin. So we're just going to move the head, neck here. Inhaling to lift the chin up. And then exhaling to lower. And be mindful here of your neck. If this lifting and lowering is not appropriate for you, you might stay with more of a side to side turning motion, or simply work to sit up as long and as tall in your spine as you can. So kind of depending on what's going on through your spine and neck today. Otherwise, moving the head up and down like this with your breath. Good. The next time the chin is down towards the chest, gently slide your chin towards your right shoulder, then back across the chest and towards your left shoulder, gliding the chin from side to side here with the head hanging forward. And again, if that head hanging forward is not good for your neck, so if you have any osteoporosis or um, any sensitivity there in the neck, then maybe you work with just a lifted head side to side. That's fine. If you're taking this sliding motion from with the head tilted forward, we could add in maybe a circle motion, bringing the chin to the left shoulder, then lifting the chin up and across the ceiling and down to the right shoulder and across the chest. Good, circling around here. And if you're circling in one direction, try changing the directions now, going the other way. Good. Then bringing the head back to center. Again, lifting the chest up. So we're sitting up nice and tall. Hands might still be on the belly and the chest, or they might be on the rib cage, staying attentive to that widening breath. Good. On the next exhale, gently round your spine in, curling in. Then as you inhale, lift back up again, shoulders back, maybe the chin lifts, arcing the back. Exhale again and rounding in, maybe starting to slide the sit bones underneath you more. And then inhale, sliding those sit bones out from underneath you, lifting up and looking up. Good. You can make this motion of the spine, curling and uncurling, as big or as small as feels appropriate for you today. Guiding your decisions from the experience of your body, not necessarily from what the mind is telling you. Sometimes the mind will tell you it wants to do more than the body is able today, and sometimes the mind will tell you it wants to do less than what the body is able today. So we want to try to guide our motion from what the body is feeling. Good. Nice. Coming back into center once again, sitting up tall, placing both hands now onto the chest, soften those shoulders. Few deep breaths here. Really, really tuning into that widening breath. Good. Then maybe we can slide the hands out. So we're having one hand sit on each shoulder. Maybe sometimes touching the shoulders is not an option. That's okay. You can let the hands hover or take them out more on top of the elbows if that feels better for you. And we're going to start to draw some circles with the elbows. Easy, simple circles here. They don't have to be really big. Just getting some motion going on in those shoulders. Maintaining that full widening breath. Good. Let's try the other way. Circle the other direction. Beautiful. Then with the elbows out to the sides, we're going to exhale and bring the elbows to touch in front. Then inhale, open the elbows back out. Exhale, bring the elbows in touch. Then inhale, take them wide. So exhale in, inhale out. Yeah, good. Exhale in, inhale out. Really nice. One more like this. Good. Then free up those arms, let them slide down to your sides, turning the palms forward, coming into our seated Tadasana. Feet are about hip distance apart, heels directly below the knees. Sitting up tall, breathing here. Good. See if you can maintain a little bit of this tension in the body. So excuse me, not tension as in gripping, but attention as in awake and paying attention here. Good. Take your gaze now and fix it straight ahead in front of you. We're going to do a little yoga for the eyes today. So fixing your gaze straight ahead in front of you. Good. We're going to slowly take the eyes towards the right, looking off to your right just as far as is comfortable without moving your head at all. How's your breathing here? Good. Let's bring the eyes back into center nice and slow. So you're drawing as straight a line across the horizon as you can. Good. Then let's take the eyes to the left. Again, only going to where it feels okay. Don't strain the eyes. Then let's bring the eyes back to the center. And again, towards the right. Good. And center. And towards the left. And center. Nice. One more time towards the right. And center. And one more time towards the left. And center. Good. Now, keeping the head still, take your gaze up towards the ceiling without lifting the head at all. Then down towards the ground. Then up towards the ceiling. And down towards the ground. And one more time, let's go up towards the ceiling. And down towards the ground. Good. Bring your gaze back to that horizon line. And now we're going to create some circle gazing with the eyes. So we're going to start by going over to the right, then up the right side of your room, across your ceiling. You're moving your eyes, just your eyes, not your head, towards the left. Then the eyes go down the left side of the room and across the ground. And then over to the right and up the right side of the room, towards the ceiling, across the ceiling to the left, down the left, and across the floor. And your timing will be different because your room is different and your eyes are moving at a different pace and tempo, and that's okay. Do one more round in this direction. And then pausing when you're looking down towards the ground. And let's reverse directions. You're going to go to the left and up that left side of the room and across the ceiling and down the right side of the room and across the ground to the left and up, across the ceiling and down, across the ground. Do one more round like this. Without moving the head. That's the challenging part. Really trying not to move the head at all. Good. When you come back towards the ground, take the eyes back to that horizon line and close the eyes for a moment. Soften the eyes as best you can. Find again that widening breath, that feeling of the breath at the side of the body. And then we're going to inhale, both arms forward and up. You might open your eyes, you might keep them closed, taking the arms as high as you comfortably can. Turn the palms out and away from you, or away from each other, sorry, and take the arms down to your side. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, out and down. Good. One more like this. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, out and down. And as the arms come around and down, take them behind you to maybe hold on to the sides of the back of your chair or rest your hands on your hips if that feels better. Good. We're going to take the shoulders onto the back and once again, lift the chest up. Good. From here, extend the right leg forward, flexing the right toes back, keeping that chest lifted, pressing into your left foot. So your left leg's nice and strong. Your right leg is as straight as you can make it, and your chest is lifted. Beautiful. Okay, from here, you have a couple options. You could take your left hand onto your left knee, keeping your right hand where it is. You could release your right hand, place it on your right hip, and bring your left elbow down onto your thigh. And if you have your left elbow on your thigh, you might then take your right arm up towards the ceiling. That is an option. Any one of these options is perfect. Stay where you are, work there. Good. If your right arm is lifted, lower the right hand back down. Ease yourself out of the twist before coming up to seated. Taking the hands again behind you, holding onto the chair, chest lifted, shoulders back. Bring that right foot in. Extend the left leg out, flex the left toes back, and press into your right foot. Right leg is nice and strong. Left leg is as straight as you can make it. Chest is open. So again, you have a couple options. You can keep your right hand your left hand on the chair. Your right hand could come forward onto your right knee. This is sort of twist one. The next option is to let that left hand come onto your hip and come onto your right elbow. That's option two. And then option three is to take that left arm up towards the sky. Any one of these twist options are perfect. So take the one that works best for you. Be in that shape and then breathe that deep widening breath. Good. If your left arm is lifted, lower the left hand back down, then gently unwind your body before lifting back up. Taking the hands again around behind you, holding onto the sides of the back of your chair, stepping that left foot in, now pressing equally into both feet. Pressing into both hands, lift the chest here. We're in bridge pose or seated bridge pose. Watch the tendency for the head to want to drop back here. It gives you the feeling of a deep back bend, but it really is just compressing the neck. So tuck the chin in instead and focus on a lift of the chest and a fullness of your breath. Really nice. Slowly, gently come back to a neutral space for the spine. Release your hands and bring them forward onto your thighs. Gonna see how that feels. That was a fair bit of opening across the chest. Then we're gonna take the hands and slide them forward towards the knees and down the legs towards the feet. Exhaling the breath out. Inhaling, rolling back up and bringing the hands back onto the thighs. So the hands stay connected to the legs, warming the legs up as you exhale and come down. And inhale to come up. So we're starting to introduce some motion into that lower back space, into the hips here, and even into the hamstrings. Good. Few more breaths like this. Last one. Good. Returning now to your Tadasana, palms open, shoulders back. Walk the feet wide apart, turning the toes out a little bit wider than the heels. And then release the hands onto your knees. So your arms should be relatively straight here. Hands is kind of grazing the kneecaps, or maybe the palms can even rest on the knees, but we're not going to sacrifice the spine, right? Keep the spine long here. So the hands might have to sit a little bit higher up. That's fine. Then from here, we're going to simply lift the right heel up off the floor. Just the right heel. Toes stay down. Watch that right knee. It loves to collapse in. Keep it right on in line with that right heel and ankle. Good. Let's lower the right heel down. Let's try the left heel now. Lift the left heel up. Notice if it's easier to lift one over the other. It's okay. It's totally normal. But just notice for yourself. Logging some information. Good. Let's lower that left heel down and again take the right heel up. And then release it down. Take the left heel up. And then release it down. And again, the right heel comes up. And down. And then the left heel comes up. And down. And then we're going to take both heels up. Both heels lifted up. Good. Keeping the toes on the floor. Lift those heels as high as you can. Keep the knees over the ankles. Hands on the knees. Breathing here. We're waking up these inner thigh muscles. And sometimes they need a good alarm clock. They don't wake up so easily. So we're going to keep those heels lifted until we really start to fire and turn on these inner thigh muscles. Good. Breathing deeply here. That widening breath, that really broad breath, broadening shoulders, rib cage. Good. Then lower the heels down. Really nice. And let's lift the toes up. Let's rock the feet here. Lower the toes down, lift the heels up. Lower the heels down, lift the toes up. Good. A few more times, just rocking back and forth. We're shifting the work of the different muscles in the legs and working on some coordination pattern here. So really good work. Seems kind of simple, not always easy. Back and forth, really nice. Let's do a few more. Good, one more. Good, let's take the heels to the floor now and extend that right leg out to the right as long as you can. Flexing the right toes back and once again pressing into that left foot, making the left leg as strong as you can. Bring the left hand onto the center of your chest. Let your right hand rest on your right thigh and start to twist the upper body towards your left. So you're turning gently towards the left. Be really attentive to that left knee. Now that we've got so much going on, it's going to want to collapse in. So keep it in line with your hip and ankle. From here, you're welcome to stay seated upright, especially if you have concerns along your spine, or you might start to slide that right hand down the right leg. Keep that left shoulder rolling back as you let the right hand slide down. Good. Some of you might keep the left hand on the chest. That's really helpful if you notice yourself kind of collapsing here. If you can maintain a lifted chest, you might free up that left arm and extend it out from the shoulder, or even start to reach that left arm overhead. Big opening through the side of the body. Utilize your expanding breath here. Widening breath. Good. Bring the hand back to the chest if you have it lifted. Then lift the chest up into your hand and slowly ease that right hand back up the right leg and unwind the body. Bring that right foot in now so the legs are still wide, but both feet are on the floor. And then we'll extend the left leg out. And again, you're extending it just as far out as is comfortable, flexing the left toes back, placing the left hand on the left thigh, bring the right hand onto the chest. So the hand on the chest is just so helpful when our body is sort of used to kind of collapsing. We want to lift that chest up into the hand. This helps to create space in the spine before you twist towards your right. And then maybe letting that left hand slide down the left leg. But of course, you can always stay upright if that's more appropriate for your spine, working more on your twist. But from here, you might free up that right arm and extend it out from the right shoulder. Or maybe start to reach it over your head. How's that expanding breath? Good. Bring the right hand, sorry, back onto the chest. Lift the chest up into the hand before gliding yourself back up. Bringing that left foot back in. Good. Walking the feet back into that centered Tadasana position. Good. Let's wrap the hands around in front now. Interlace the fingers and press the palms forward. If interlacing your fingers is painful at all for you, you're welcome to hold on to one wrist with the other hand. Good. Then slowly take your arms up overhead. Good. Pressing down into both feet. Feel both the rooting of the legs and the reaching of the arms, and how this creates lots of space right here in the center of the body. Good. If your knees, hips, and low back are feeling okay today, we'll take a moment to lift up in just a second. If your knees, hips, and low back are not feeling okay, stay seated as you are, working this kind of two-directional feeling. Good. If you're coming up to stand, you're going to really root through those feet, slightly lean forward. And even if you're not coming up to stand, you might slightly lean forward. It puts a little bit more work on your back, so be mindful there. Then start to shift the weight off the chair into your feet, into your legs, hovering your hips off the chair. Wherever you are, let your arms now come down to your sides, but keep the shoulders back and keep that widening breath here. Good. Rooting through the feet, hips back, breathing deep. Next inhale, take the arms up overhead, sweep up, and then exhale, let the arms drop. This time as you inhale, arms out to the sides and up, tapping overhead, giving a good clap. Then exhale, take the arms down and around behind you, giving a good clap. Inhale, arms out and up with a clap. Exhale, down and around behind you with a clap. Good, keep going. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Good. As the arms come down around behind you, if you're sitting, you might hold on to the sides of the back of the chair. If you're standing, place your hands maybe on the back of your hips. And if that's not available, you could hold onto your hips with your hands. Good. Wherever you are, we're still sending energy down the legs into the earth, pressing strongly into the earth with the feet. Then take your shoulders up and onto your back. Feeling your hips tilt down towards the ground. So if you're in the chair, it's like you're trying to press the back of your hips down into the chair. And if you're standing, it's a little like you're trying to tuck the back of your hips into the back of your thighs. Good. And we're not going to focus too much here on a back bend. We're going to really pay attention to stretching open that space between the belly and the chest. So lifting your chest up towards the ceiling, keeping the chin tucked here, and starting to send the hips down in the back will open up some of this space in the center. And where we can send the breath and really broaden our center here. Beautiful. Gently release and come back to your Tadasana, sitting or standing. Taking the right palm and turning it in towards the side of your body. Your left arm can sweep out and maybe up overhead or fingertips to your shoulder. Slowly curving your body over towards your right. And if you are someone who notices you have a habit or tendency to kind of collapse your spine, sometimes taking that left hand onto your chest again can be more helpful in keeping that chest lifted and the spine long in your curve. Good. Let's inhale back up into center and release the left arm down. Having the left hand turned into the side of your body, your right arm might sweep out and up overhead, might have the right fingertips towards the shoulder, or again, I suggest even having the right hand on the center of the chest is really helpful. Standing tall or sitting tall and then curving to your left. Good. Inhale back up into center, then exhale. Release that right arm down. Coming back to Tadasana, sitting or standing tall. Full broadening breaths here. An opportunity to just feel your body being breathed. Good. All right. Those who are standing, bring your chair to the top of your mat. Turn the seat of the chair so it's facing you. If you're sitting, stay seated in your Tadasana. For those who are standing, once you've positioned your chair, come to stand in front of the seat of the chair, returning to your Tadasana stance. Good. From here, let's all together inhale those arms forward and up, gazing up, looking up, lifting up, and then exhale and folding down. Hands to the knees or to the seat of the chair, lengthening the spine forward as you breathe in. Then exhale, bending those elbows and folding from the hips a little deeper. Being mindful of blood pressure here, keep your head above your heart. Inhale, lift the chest forward, look forward. Exhale, folding down. Good. Inhale, lift and extend. And then exhale and fold. Beautiful. If you're standing, come up again halfway so your arms are straight. Align your shoulders over your wrists and then maybe walk your feet back just a little bit so that your heels are right below your hips. So you're making this sort of box shape with your body. If you're sitting in the chair, keep your feet flat on the floor and extend your arms straight out from your shoulders. So you've got a similar box shape, just in a different orientation. Good. We're going to work a little bit here in that core section. So from here, if you're standing, you're going to take your right foot up towards your right elbow, maybe even touching your right elbow with your right knee. If you're sitting, you have a couple options. You could lift your right knee up, maybe touching your right elbow with your right knee, or bring your right elbow down to your right knee, either option. And we're going to come in and out a few times. So lifting that right knee up and then lowering it down. Good. Again, let's lift that right knee up and lowering it down. Or if you're in the chair, you might be using the elbow instead down to the knee. That's fine. Good. One more. Let's lift the knee up and then down. Good. Let's try the left side now with the left knee or elbow, lifting up and releasing. Lifting up and releasing. Very good. One more like this, lifting up and releasing. Very good. Okay. The next option now is crossing over. So right knee will lift up and go across as though it was going to touch the left forearm or elbow. And the same in the chair. If you're sitting, your right knee might come up and across, or you might bring your elbow down and across. Good. Then let's release that right side. And let's try the left side. Lift the left side up and cross it over. And then down. Right side lifts and crosses. And down. Very good. Left side lifts and crosses. And down. We're going to do it again. Right side lift and cross. And release. Very good. Left side lift and cross. And release. Really nice. From here, if you're standing, you're going to walk your feet back and come into a really long L shape or V shape with your body in downward facing dog. If you're sitting in the chair, feet are flat, interlace your hands, press your palms forward and lift your arms up into your downward dog. So with downward dog, there's lots of extension happening in the sides of your body. Breathe into the sides of your body. Sitting, stay as you are. If you're standing, you have an option to stay as you are or glide your shoulders forward again. Keep your feet where they are and come into plank pose. But if you're in plank pose, guide back towards downward facing dog. Good. From here, let's step the right foot forward. If you're standing, if you're sitting, extend your right leg out in front. Heel on the floor, toes back. Good. Pressing into that left foot wherever you are. Nice, solid, strong left leg. If you're standing, both legs are straight. If you're sitting, your right leg is straight. And then from here, we might start to fold forward. So if you're standing, you might just soften the elbows a little bit or come down onto your elbows. If you're sitting, you might place your left elbow on your left thigh and bring your right hand down your right leg, maybe even touching your right toes. These are options for breathing wherever you are. Good. If you're sitting in the chair, keep your left elbow on your left thigh and bring your right hand on your right hip. If you're standing, slowly come up to you so your hands are holding the chair And take your right hand onto your right hip. Keep your left hand on the chair. Let's roll that right shoulder back, slowly twisting to look towards the right. Good. So whether you're standing or sitting, that right shoulder's rolled back. The left foot is heavy. We're pressing even a little bit into that right foot or right heel. Good. Some of you might free up that right arm and extend it towards the ceiling, or maybe even overhead. Let's release that right hand onto the hip, unwind the upper body, then place that right hand onto the chair or release the hands down and come up to seated. If you're standing, step back into downward facing dog. If you're sitting, interlace your hands, press your palms forward and reach them up into your downward facing dog. From here, we're going to come into the other side now. So standing, you're going to step your left foot forward. Sitting, you're going to extend the left leg out in front of you, heel on the floor, toes back. So if you're standing, both legs are straight. If you're sitting, it's your left leg that's straight. And let's all make sure we're pressing actively into that right foot. Good. Lift the chest forward, look forward. Or if you're sitting, lift your chest up. And then let's start to fold down. Maybe softening the elbows if you're standing or coming down onto your elbows. And if you're sitting, your right elbow will come down onto your right thigh, maybe, or you stay up on your hand. And then your left hand might come down that left leg. Full breaths. If you're folded forward deeply and you're standing, slowly come up so your hands are holding the chair. If you're sitting, keep your right elbow on your right thigh. And then let's take the left hand up onto the left hip. Roll that left shoulder back in, slowly come into your twist. Maybe taking that left arm up towards the sky, maybe not, maybe keeping it on the hip, that's fine. Rooting through that right foot, heavy right foot, pressing even into the left foot or the left heel. Broadening breaths here, widening breaths. Good. Let's release that left hand down. If you're standing, step back to downward facing dog. If you're sitting, come to sit up tall, interlace your hands and take your arms overhead. If you're sitting, staying in your downward facing dog. If you're standing, you might glide forward into plank or stay in your downward dog. That's fine too. Breathing wherever you are. Good. Then let's glide back into downward dog. And if you're comfortable coming onto your knees, you might use the chair to help lower yourself down onto your knees, taking your knees wide and your big toes to touch, thinking back towards your heels, and then releasing your forehead and hands to the floor. If you're not comfortable coming onto the floor, then you can come into your chair, taking your legs wide apart and folding down between your legs, maybe elbows on the thighs, maybe hands towards the ankles. If you are comfortable coming onto the floor, but just not okay to be on your knees, that is absolutely fine. Make your way down onto the ground in whatever way works for you so that you can lay on your back, bending your knees in towards your belly, letting them come wide, and then holding onto your shins with your hands. Find again that widening breath, really accentuate it here. Helping the body settle a little bit into the shape. Good, then let's try a little of our Brahmari breath, our bumblebee breath here. Placing your tongue very softly at the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. And then as you exhale, starting to buzz or hum like a little gentle bumblebee. Continuing to cycle through breath like this. Take 2 more breaths like this. And letting your tongue drop down from the roof of your mouth and soften your jaw, opening the throat. If you are lying on your back, you could release your feet now towards the ground. If you are sitting on your knees on the floor, slowly rise up so that you can lay back onto your back and again have your feet on the floor. And if you're sitting in the chair, ease yourself up to sit up in your chair. Once you have yourself either seated tall or lying on the ground, place your hands on your belly, wherever it feels comfortable for you, and just feel the gentle rise and fall of your belly as you breathe, starting to release the effort and control of your breath. Those of you who are on the floor, keep your hips where they are. Just walk both feet over to the right a little bit, and then try to straighten your legs out to the right here. If having them straight is painful at all for you, keep your knees bent. If you have your legs straight, you can wrap your right ankle over top of your left ankle, and then take your arms over your head, holding onto your left wrist with your right hand, and guide your arms over to the right as well. So we're in this sort of banana-shaped pose. If you're sitting in the chair, you may extend both legs out in front of you or keep both feet on the floor. That's fine. Then taking your arms up overhead, holding your left wrist and arcing over towards your right, or simply letting your arms rest at your chest and arcing the spine over towards the right. We're doing a little bit of a longer side stretch here, meeting the sensation of the stretch with that broadening breath. Letting go of the tension in the body now, trying to let ourselves settle a little bit more. Softening the grip that we might be holding within the body. And if you're lying on the ground, release the grip of your arms, your hands, bend your knees and slowly walk your feet back into center. Then take your feet over to the other side, extending them out towards the left if that's available to you. Then if they're extended, cross your left ankle over your right ankle. Then with your arms over your head, grab a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and arc your arms towards your left. If you're sitting in the chair, again, you have the option to have both legs extended out with the heels on the ground and the toes flexed back, or simply keep both feet on the floor. Arms might be up overhead, holding that right wrist and curving to the left, or hands on the chest as you curve your spine to the left. However you are here, wherever you are, you might simply be sitting and breathing, and that's perfect. Stay there then, but be as fully present here as you can, fully embodied in this moment. And if you're lying on the floor, release the grip of the hands, uncross the legs, and then gently bend the knees, walking the feet back into center and bringing your hands back onto your belly. If you're sitting in the chair, you can place both feet flat on the floor. Let the arms come down onto the belly. Again, close your eyes and again, feel that soft wave of your belly as you breathe. From here, whether you're sitting or lying on the ground, you have an option to bring your right knee now in towards your belly, hold around your shin or thigh, and give the leg a good squeeze in, extending maybe that left leg out. If you're sitting in the chair and lifting the leg is just not an option for you, it's fine. Fold down over both legs, wrap your arms underneath both thighs, and give yourself a little hug here. Good. For those of you on the floor or lying on your back, take your left hand to your right thigh, let your right arm extend out to your side, and guide your right leg across your body into your twist. For those of you sitting in the chair, you're going to release the foot down if you have it lifted and place your left hand on your right thigh. Bring your right hand around behind you onto the seat of the chair or the back of the chair and come into a seated twist here. For those lying on the floor, I'm going to encourage you to keep your gaze straight up towards the ceiling. But if it's comfortable for you, you might turn your head towards your right hand. That's a pretty deep twist for the spine. So just going to where it feels appropriate for you today. Good. Now take your time to gently unwind your body, placing that right foot on the floor, placing the left foot on the floor, coming back with your hands on your belly. And then we'll switch sides, lifting the left leg into the belly, hands around the thigh or the shin, extending the right leg out. Or if you're sitting and you want to keep both feet on the floor, fold down now again over both your legs, wrap your arms underneath your thighs. Those of you lying on the floor now, take your right hand to your left thigh, let your left arm extend out to your side, and guide your leg across your body into your twist, keeping your shoulders on the floor as best you can. Good. For those of you sitting in the chair, you release the feet to the ground, come up to sitting, and then take your right hand onto your left thigh, your left hand behind you, and come into your seated twist here. If you're lying on the floor, again, I'm going to suggest to keep your gaze to the ceiling. But if it's available to you, you might turn your head towards your left. Maintaining a widening breath in your twist. Go take your time now and slowly unwind yourself, placing your feet back onto the floor, hands back onto the belly. Now, those of you lying on the floor, you might come to extend your legs out onto the ground or over top of a bolster as you settle into your Savasana, releasing your arms to your sides, turning your palms up. If you're sitting in the chair, I'll encourage you now to try to sit as far back into your chair as you can, maybe even placing a pillow behind your back to make sure your back feels supported. If sitting this far back in your chair causes your feet to dangle, please place a pillow, rolled up blanket, or blocks underneath your feet to make sure your feet have support as well. Those of you lying on the floor, your arms can come just very gently, naturally at your sides, working your shoulder blades a bit more underneath you, lengthening your neck out as you rest your head on the ground. Those of you sitting in the chair, your hands may rest in your lap, maybe on a pillow as well, as that's easing for the shoulders. Closing the eyes now wherever you are. Let's collectively again take a deep breath in through the nose. And let it go with a big sigh, a big moan or groan. This time as you inhale, try to make your body as tight as you can. tense it up, squeeze everything in from the toes right up to the forehead. Squeeze the fingers in, everything's engaged to make it really, really, really tight, really pulled in. And now exhale, let it all release. Whew. Let it all go. Settle in now. Let it go. Let it release. Let it go. Let it release. Let it go. Let it release. Drifting deeply into a still and quiet space. A space where you feel able to be alive, awake, aware, and calm, at ease with what is. Allowing the ebbs and flow of life to just continue to move as they will. And you are this stable, calming force, observing all of those ebbs and flows, observing the changes of your life from a place that knows its strength and stability, sitting or resting in that space now. And I'll bring us back when it's time to close the practice. allowing your body to continue to rest. Bring your attention, your alertness back into the body. And without actually moving your body at all, become aware of the position of your body here. Just notice how your arms are placed and how your legs are sitting, where your head is at, how your shoulders are. You may even notice some patterns of gripping and tension that weren't quite ready yet to release, and that's okay. But simply notice and acknowledge those spaces. And then invite a deeper breath into the body now. Consciously start to increase the length of your inhales and exhales. Feeling the energy of your body starting to move again. And starting to let that energy flow into the very edges of your body, into your fingers and into your toes. And starting to bring some conscious movement now into your body, waking up the hands and the feet. Maybe starting to turn your head from one side to the other. If you're lying on the floor, you might bend your knees now and gently roll onto one side. Curl in a little bit on your side here, like a little fetal position resting moment. If you're sitting in the chair, you might gently fold forward, rest your elbows on your thighs, and just kind of let yourself hang forward for a moment, almost sort of a collapsing of the musculature of the body. And then wherever you are, however you are positioned here, take your time to ease yourself up and back into a tall and alert seat. Lifting the chest up, rolling the shoulders back, and folding the hands together in front of the heart. Bring some attention to the body. So not gripping tension, not tension from a resistance, but tension from awareness, from being present in your day, in your life, in this moment. Let's collectively, one more time, take a deep breath in together and let go of a sigh. Bowing the head in towards the heart and sending gratitude inwards towards yourself, towards your body, towards your mind, towards your heart, for guiding you to the practice today, for helping you move through practice. Share a big thank you to yourself. And lifting your head, thank you all so much for joining in the practice of yoga and continuing to share your practice together. Namaste.